Welcome to The Confidence Curve with Ashley and Rick Bowers, where personal and professional journeys define the art of scaling with confidence. Whether you're a business leader navigating change or someone seeking personal growth, this podcast offers insights and actionable advice to help you thrive. Now let's dive into today's conversation with our incredible guest.
Welcome to The Confidence Curve with Apex GTS Advisors. My name is Ashley Bowers, and I'm here with my husband and co-host, Rick Bowers. We're happy and excited to be with you guys today to discuss the 100 Mile Brewery. So we have Sue here with us, and we are so thankful that you decided to join us on our podcast today. We appreciate your time and can't wait to get to know a little bit more about you and the curve that you've been on to grow the brewery over the last several years. So if you want, just kick us off with a little bit about you and about your company.
Sure. Well, thank you, Ashley and Rick. And I didn't know you guys were married.
There we go.
So here we go. I just learned something. Yeah. Fabulous. So yes, my name is Sue Rigler, and I'm owner of Hundred Mile Brewing Company. And we opened in December 2022. So we are almost going into our third year. 3 years open, which is no small feat for somebody that had no idea how to run a restaurant. When I got into it, I wanted to open a brewery, and now we have a full-fledged, full-on, full-service restaurant, production facility, the brewery, and an event space. So a lot to take on when, you got to sink or swim, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But so I've been enjoying and learning the process. Every day is a different experience when you're in hospitality. No days are the same. You whack a lot of moles, one goes down and another one pops up. So that's just a day in the life of a entrepreneur and hospitality brewery owner.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you and I have a little bit in common. We both grew up in Iowa, both went to Arizona State, and kind of from there you decided to kind of make this plunge. We met at, I think, class 6 of the Alumni Leadership Institute.
Yes.
The other thing I remember, I think from the first time that I came into the brewery for lunch, and we talked a little bit, and you had said you'd gone from 0 to 45 employees in such a short period of time, and it's kind of a shock doing that. So tell us a little bit about kind of what was that like?
Well, I think, first of all, both being from Iowa and getting out of Iowa, we're both super smart people, right?
Yeah.
So at least now, right now, because it's the middle of the summer and it's a little bit hot here. But I was a microbiology major at ASU, and from Iowa. I was very Iowa nice. We had a lot of block parties and pig roasts and just a lot of community events and neighborhood events. And, it's, like I said, it's community. So I've always had that hospitable kind of entrepreneur spirit. And I didn't drink beer when I was 10 years old, but I did have a Budweiser t-shirt that I wore a lot when I was 10 years old. So I kind of had this affinity for beverages. I collected beer cans. Yeah, my dad built me a shelf just for my beer can collection. Okay. And so between the science, my microbiology degree, and kind of my affinity for hospitality and craft beer, I saw a microscope in a craft brewery one day, and kind of this aha moment, and I talked to the brewer, and it was like, from that moment in 2014, I never stopped thinking about opening a brewery. I was so passionate about it. Nobody was going to talk me out of it. I had no idea what I was doing. But I managed to get the funding and the location, the great prime location in Tempe, right on the north side of Tempe Town Lake. So all the stars aligned, and my dream has come true.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so amazing. I love all of that.
I collected beer cans as a kid too, but it was because there was a 5-cent refund on them, and that was good money back in the day because you could go around and do that.
I think it's still 5 cents, isn't it?
It could be, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just happy that we don't have that here.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
So opening it back in December of 2022, like what was your vision at that time? And then how does it compare to what you've achieved today?
That's a great question. Going back to December 22 and looking at what I've created, I think I nailed it. Awesome. I really do. Because I'm all about community and being a Sun Devil and loving the city of Tempe. I have so much support from the city that I could not have thought of a better or dreamt of a more prime, perfect location for me. So community, giving back, My clientele is, we have so many regulars. I hear the word vibe all the time and welcoming all the time. 100 Mile is where you keep your beer freshest from production. So I don't want my beer to travel any more than 100 miles. And so I want to keep it local, super fresh and super local. And I dreamt of, my dream is to have fit lifestyle. I'm a runner. So 100 Miles has nothing to do with running. It's about fresh beer. But I do have a running club on Sunday mornings at 8:30. So I've incorporated my running and beer are my two favorite things, So I
Kind of is a good counterbalance.
It
so
is,
it is good.
I run to the finish line and have a beer. I mean, what more could you want,
Absolutely. That's awesome.
We run to the store to get more beer, I guess would be the extent of my running. I'm definitely not a runner, but I do enjoy beer.
Yeah, there's beer. There's two kinds of beer runs, right?
Yes.
A beer run to the store and
Yes.
you run a 10K and have a beer.
Exactly.
What I love about that answer, I'm currently listening to the book, The Gap and the Gain. And it's talking a lot about the psychology of entrepreneurs and success and overachievers and how we tend to always measure ourselves by where we're going. And that's why so many statistically don't ever achieve happiness, right? They're in that we haven't hit enough yet mentality and the things that go along with that. And how if you want to truly achieve happiness, you measure success by where you've come, like that gain that you've already had. And your entire answer was everything that you achieved, which was just amazing and definitely something that people should inspire to be able to look at it from that perspective.
Thank you for saying that, because not every day, the whack-a-mole, sometimes you get frustrated and you don't about that happiness. It's like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. After we had a conversation the other day, I went to the website and was reading the stories on the website too about the original owner of that building, B, and all of the stories connected there. And so I don't know that I remember looking at the picture in the bar from your window in Manzi, looking back at that direction. So next time I'm in, I have to look for that.
right. They have a picture on the bar, a framed picture I took in, I'm going to tell kind of a little bit of giving my age up here. But in 1982, when I was a freshman at ASU, I lived in the dorm Manzanita. It was 15 stories high, so I lived on the 13th floor. And I took a picture facing north out of those, those crappy little Kodak.
Yeah.
They were paper cameras that you manually wound, and then you sent them in for developing. But so I took a picture facing north, and the building that we currently occupy right now, 100 Mile Brewing, it was built in 1974. So the building, you can see it from Manzanita, my dorm room. So I found it just a year ago, 2 years ago, when I was moving my parents out. I was looking through old photo albums, and I saw Manzanita with the triangle windows. So it's just an iconic building. And I'm like, wait, that's Manzanita. And then I looked at it, I had it blown up, and my building, the brewery building, is in that picture.
Oh my gosh.
So way back in 1982, it's almost like serendipitous that I had this revelation that I was going to, open a brewery right there in that location.
That's amazing. What are some of the surprises or the challenges that you've kind of come across and had to overcome in the last few years?
Oh, geez, where do I start? Being an entrepreneur it's the greatest thing, and it's very stressful. So all of us all entrepreneurs, we're horrible employees. We're unemployable, really. So we have to create our own jobs and be creative. So really, the hardest thing for me was learning the restaurant business and managing 40 employees and putting systems. We're doing this overhaul right now. Really not an overhaul. We're implementing it because we never had it to overhaul, but is really to put in systems. And when I mean systems is we have a regimen of putting boundaries and holding people accountable. And it's a lot of work. It's very painful because we never had that in the first couple years, because basically I had a friend say, I said, she's another fellow brewery owner, and she goes, I feel like I'm drinking water from a fire hose. And she said to me, well, you're not drinking water from a fire hose, you're free falling from an airplane. And I have skydived twice in my life. And I'm like, you are absolutely right, because it's exactly how it feels. Everything happened so fast. In that first year, I didn't know really what I was doing. I just held on and had other people guide, and it was very fast, very quick, and free falling from an airplane. So, that is, now the parachute is open. It's a little bit, I can think more. So now in thinking and seeing, looking back in the 2 years of history is you have to set systems up so people can be held accountable. And we call it don't know, don't care. So don't know is shame on me as a business owner. People can't read my mind. So I have to tell them, I have to train them. And then you train them a couple times. And if they're still not getting the message, is that a don't care? And that's when the uncomfortable conversations come in.
No, absolutely.
So a lot of organizations rely on like an external business coach. And you mentioned that the other day when we were talking. What have been some of the big things that have been either aha moments or, yeah, I do need to work on that for you?
You know what? His name is David Scott Peters. He's a restaurant coach, and he has clients all over the United States, and actually I think he has one in Colombia, so it's outside of the U.S. as well. And ironically, he rows on Tempe Town Lake every day, which is
Okay.
right next door. I mean, he's local. So he's been in the restaurant several times, and I'm going through his program, and his programs is what I'm tackling right now, is setting these systems and holding people accountable. But one of the take-home messages is he has all these spreadsheets that you have to fill out for daily sales reports, waste trackers, but the one that really hit me was a labor allotment. And it's like budgeting. You have to, the P&Ls, which I have learned how to read, but backtracking on labor allotment, your front of house and back of house, because labor is your most expensive thing. So you really have to understand it and not copy and paste your schedule. So you give your employees, your managers, a budget, and you work back. So kind of a light bulb went on when I was going through the spreadsheets and manually entering these numbers. It kind of made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, my first job was at a restaurant. It was a pizza restaurant. And I was always just really geeky about business and grew up in family-owned businesses and such. And I always wanted to do their end of year or end of day paperwork for the manager because I liked going through and figuring out the labor percentage and like looking
I
at
have a
all
job
the
for you.
numbers.
Yeah.
And so like at 16, finally when I could drive, because I wasn't allowed to stay clocked in because we would then go over our labor allocation. And so I would have to like clock out, but I couldn't drive. And so my parents were like, I'm not taking you back just so you can clock in for an hour to do paperwork. Like this is insane. And so once I could drive, I was so excited because I could clock out, go home, and then come back at closing and then do the paperwork. Later, I figured out I was doing the manager's job. But at that point, I didn't. I felt like it was a gift that they were giving me every time for me to be able to figure out the labor ratios.
Ashley, you are a special person.
That's a word for it.
That's great.
So you have achieved so much recognition from the state and the city and everything. Businesswoman of the Year, all these different accolades. What does that mean to you? Does that drive you? Does it give you a sense of satisfaction? All of the above, or how does it make you feel?
It certainly, I'm honored to. We got in 2023, we were named one of the top 10 USA Today, the top 10 new craft breweries in the U.S., which after just opening to be recognized from USA Today, and then in 2024, 100 Mile Brewing was recognized as Small Business of the Year. We won that award in Tempe, which was even to be nominated and then getting down to the finalists and actually going up and accepting the award was gives me a little bit of goosebumps, And then just this past year in April, I was given the award. I was nominated and then got the award for Businesswoman of the Year in Tempe for 2025, which I had to make sure that they had to check that, make sure that they were calling the right person up. But I mean, just looking back, it's first of all, it's an honor. And I take that very seriously as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur and owner of a business in Tempe, that I'm not only representing my brand and my company, I'm representing the entire city. When guests come in, because we're right by Sky Harbor, we actually have people's first impressions of Tempe, and we also, we're their last impression as well. So it's all encompassing, and I take it very seriously to, just give the best possible customer experience and hospitality that we can, and then to give back to the city of Tempe, which I've done we just did a Hope water drive, and proceeds a bottled water drive that the city uses as a tool to go out in the streets and talk to the unsheltered and homeless, to engage in conversations to see if they want help. And then they have some programs to help I've given to the Pat Tillman Foundation, Pat's Run. We've done Alyssa Serenades. She was a former ASU, right? She was a phenomenal human being.
Yeah, for sure.
And we get back to her Legacy Foundation. So, and then Sun Devil Family Charities, just to name a couple. So yeah, it's important to me to get back and to be a role model, even though it's hard to, I'm still learning myself.
I think that part of that being like a lifelong learner in the process, like allows people to follow you a little bit easier too, right? It brings some humility and vulnerability to the conversation, and
it's authentic, it's real.
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
I think, we're all in this together kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I can help somebody out, because I've been helped out a lot by past mentors and friends, and they're still my mentors, but life is too short, and and I always say it's beer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, we have burgers and beer. It's not life insurance. Mm-hmm. Sorry for all the life insurance people out there watching this.
Yeah. Your tacos are pretty good though too.
No, I used to say that all the time. Like when I was at the real estate company for 10 years, people would be freaking out. I'm like, we're selling real estate. We are not curing brain cancer.
No.
Like, it's going to be okay if this waits 10 minutes. Like,
Yes.
we're going to be all right.
That's it. I always have to step back and remind myself.
Yeah.
To step back. I go out in the parking lot a lot and look at the building, and I just watch, or I just look at the building and go, you've created this, your team, and from this 1974 dungy, gross, ugly Sanford and Son type junkyard of a building that we've transformed into something beautiful. And so I'm proud of that. And you just have to step back sometimes and take a deep breath and go, it's all going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, Alyssa was the first person kind of as I was getting back into all of the ASU things. So I was part of the Sun Devil 100, and so she greeted me when I came to the event on that, and then we kind of hit it off, and I think that was part of how I got onto the board and council for the Alumni Association, and then the last 6 years I've been part of the Alumni Association, and so she was a part of that, and I think it was she was one of the first people that had the idea to do the Leadership Institute for ASU. So she was involved in so much stuff with the Alumni Association.
So our beer, Hey Buddy, it's a peanut butter stout, and Alyssa's favorite beer was a peanut butter stout. So we were celebrating her birthday 2 years ago, which is on August 23rd. It's this Saturday. But we got together with friends and had a celebration of her. And then we came up with the idea that we are going to brew a peanut butter stout. So, her friends go, can you do that? And I'm like, I own a brewery. Of course I can. Of course I can. So, and she would always call everybody, hey buddy, hey buddy. So we have a beer on tap. Fresh batch just came on a couple days ago, but it's Hey Buddy, and $1 a pint goes back to her scholarship.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then she has the golf tournament that we do through ASU in March as well, and so that's a fun tournament too.
So you mentioned a little bit about like accountability and the people aspect of the business, right? Alluding to that side of it. As you think about that, what have been some of the hardest parts as far as being an employer and a leader for people, but then also like a business owner and making sure that you're looking out for the company as well as bringing the people along for that ride?
That's a great question, and it's something that I have learned how to learn.
Okay.
It's a struggle because I'm Iowa nice, and I want to be nice to everybody, and but at some point you have to separate. It's a business. At the end of the day, I'm in this. I have to keep my doors open. I have to be financially responsible, and I have to hold people accountable. So, and another thing that we had set up is our core values, and some people just don't fit in the core values, and that's when don't know, don't care. So I just have to separate. There's kind of a line down the middle where you're starting to get in that gray area about, you're stepping over the don't know, don't care. And it makes it easier to have these uncomfortable conversations because I've learned, document, we put systems in place now. So if you follow the systems, there's a clear path. So I'm not stumbling over myself, or I still stumble over myself. But is it good for the company? Is this person, do they have the best interests of the company? And it's just all these questions that you have to ask. And unfortunately, sometimes it it hurts. Nobody likes to let people go. Yeah. And then I always say too, we use the phrase a lot is the right bus, different seat. So we try to put people in, they're good people and are hard workers, but maybe they're not in the best position. Yeah. Like they're not, we put them in a management or leadership role and they're more of a worker bee kind of. So just I try my best to put people in positions of strength.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always say when people are like, it's so hard to, let somebody go or to have the difficult conversation. It's like, if it ever gets easy, you've kind of lost the right to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it should be difficult. It should be a hard thing to make a decision on. And yes, the process helps because then you're sitting down and no one's surprised by the conversation. Exactly. Everyone knows that we've had a lot of work to get there. That doesn't make the actual conversation easy.
No, it doesn't. So that was a great question.
So how has your leadership style changed over the last few years, and where do you see yourself as a leader in the future?
Another good question. I have seen, I'm more confident now. Okay. Much more confident in running a company, running a restaurant, and I love the marketing aspect of it. I've always, beer and marketing. I mean, how fun is that? But all the payroll and human resources and all that kind of stuff. But I'm more confident in decisions, and I'm able to make decisions now based on numbers and facts, and in a lot of numbers don't lie. So it's kind of and I understand them a lot better. So I think my level of confidence has really grown, and that affects my team because I think in the beginning I was pretty scared. I didn't know what I was doing, and how can you take someone serious that's scared? Now it's like, come on, people, let's have fun. This is beer, Yeah. Look at what this gift we're offering to the community. So it's kind of turning. I don't think I was a good leader in the beginning because I was being led because I was so new and green. Yeah. Now I'm more confident.
Okay. Do you still have some of those original core people with you?
We do. There are Caitlin. I'm going to give her a shout out right here. Go in and see Caitlin. She's also from Iowa. Okay. And she's been there since the very beginning. And we have one of our line cooks for us. Okay. Yeah. He's been with us. I've known him for 10 years. So yeah. There's turnover in hospitality, and then in just opening up. Yeah. We were new. So again, it's not a fit for everybody. And so I think what I said that I'm doing this, not transformation, but implementation. So we now have a solid management team, a general manager, 2 AGMs. We're hiring a front of house and a kitchen manager. We have an event. So I have a bench. I have a team. Yeah. And I have a leadership coach that is helping my management team on some fundamentals. Yeah. So I think we're set up for some good success coming up here.
Yeah, the confidence really comes from all of those uncomfortable situations. And I can't think of much more uncomfortable than jumping out of an airplane. So you've kind of had that uncomfortableness as you go through this process, and that's where that confidence. Yeah. So that definitely is something from a confidence standpoint. Have you gotten to your ideal role yet?
My ideal role of not having to be in there every day?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And that's the whole team mentality now. Is like leading, and delegation is a huge one too. Yeah. That is definitely something that leaders have a hard time doing, but the best leaders are good at delegating. When you're in a new leadership role, at least for me, I've learned what micromanaging is. I had to have conversations with my managers. They would tell me not to micromanage, and I'm like, what do you mean? So I literally had to ask them what micromanaging was. And now it's like, if you give somebody a task, let them fail. Yeah. And don't, if you tell them to do something or ask them to do something, give them a deadline. Yeah. Yeah. And follow up on the deadline 3 days before. That's not micromanaging. But if you do their job, I'm like, oh, I've learned.
Yes. Yeah. We use a model Stages of Growth, and it talks about how the CEO should never jump into the supportive category, right? And supportive by definition is kind of that doing the job with them or for them, and kind of what that can do. Because from an employee's perspective, they look at it twofold. One, I'm not trusted to do the job, but also does the CEO not have anything better to do than what I was hired to do? What's happening, right? So it really causes a lot of concern and questioning. on behalf when, from the CEO perspective, they're just thinking they're helping out, that they're one of the team.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so it's just this huge mystery because it's well intended, but it can definitely have some unintended consequences.
You just described the first year and a half, almost 2 years, because I'm out bussing tables and, and that's the worst thing for, I mean, if they're in the weeds and I'm there, I'm going to go, always help out. But, I need to be out doing things like podcasts and things I enjoy and building the business, working. They say you need to work on your business, not in your business. Right. So I've evolved, and I still, bust a table every now and then because I can't stand it. But much improved.
Well, sometimes it's looking back at that table and seeing that it's clean, right? It's like you just want that task that you can actually check off and see the work that was done. I definitely fall into that trap, and that's my excuse for why is I just needed to actually see the work.
That's the dish pit.
Yes.
That's the dish pit. It's amazing. You see all these dirty dishes, and you turn around, they're all clean. And they're like, get out of here.
But it's beautiful now. There's accomplishment.
But I think that's all part of the culture as well. And you mentioned that everybody talks about there's a vibe in the brewery. And so it's like that is part of the culture. So how has that culture grown or progressed or matured over the last 3 years?
We actually, again, in this kind of implementation, what we're doing is holding people accountable and putting all these systems and processes in place. One of them, we just had we put all the servers and the bartenders under a training program. Imagine not training your team, but it's amazing what we've done. And then in training them, then they had to go through a certification process. So they had to go through all the steps of service, and our managers and the leadership coaches took notes and either pass them or pretty much all of them passed. So, but they had to go through the steps and the processes, and now it's ongoing. So now they know how to do it, and we kindly and gently will reinforce some little steps along the way. But building that, we're just trying to elevate the guest experience in hospitality. And, we're taking it very seriously, and we want to train our staff on what looks right at 100 Mile, what are our core values. And if I'm not there, I shouldn't walk in and have everybody look like deer in headlights and change their behaviors. It's just when I'm not there, it should run as if I was there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thinking back to your 2014, I think you said when you kind of had the idea of maybe doing something, what advice would you give that person today?
Don't do it. You know what I would do, I don't know if I would do anything different, because had I known what I know now and the process of the lack of knowledge that I really truly had, never running a restaurant or a brewery or a manufacturing facility or an event space or having 40 employees and doing payroll and taxes and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot. So had I known what I know now, I probably would have questioned myself. I think nobody could tell me that I was so passionate. I still am passionate, but my passion there was nobody was going to tell me that I couldn't do it. I mean, you have to raise how much money? You have to find what? I didn't even think about it. I'm going to open a brewery. So now that I know, the lack of sleep, it's like a child. I have 4 kids, and I'm telling you, this is my 5th child. It's like birthing a child. You think of a name, you don't know what it's going to look like, you don't know what it's going to act like, but you have this your passion. You want to be a mom, you want to be a parent, you want to have this kid, and all of a sudden you birth this kid, the doors open, you're like,
now what do I do?
Now what do I do? There's no manual. I have lack of sleep. I'm not getting any sleep. My whole entire life has changed now because I have this huge responsibility, and then you keep it alive for a year. It's growing. And I'm like, so it's literally like a child.
And then you never stop worrying about it.
And you never stop worrying about it. That's exactly it. The
Ours
analogies
are
go
18
on and
27.
on.
We still worry about them every day.
So couple exciting things. One, it's almost football season, so we're excited for the Devils this year. I grew up on a lake. We're both water people. So what is your exciting water news coming up for football season?
Right. So we are on just steps away from Tempe Town Lake on the north side. And the city wants to give the north side a little love. They're actually renovating 20 acres, or not renovating, but developing 20 acres on the west side of the marina. We're on the east side, just steps away from the marina. But for ASU home games this year, we're going to have a water taxi. So there's 2 pontoon boats that hold 12 people through Arizona Boat Rentals. You can get a ticket. Details will be on our website, 100milebrewing.com. And you can purchase tickets, and then it's a 4-minute pontoon ride. So you can park around the brewery. We have parking, come in, tailgate, have a few beers, some hamburger, whatever, tacos, and then walk over, get on the pontoon boat, and it takes you right and drops you right off at Rio Salado, and you walk across Rio Salado, and you're in lot 59. So the water taxi is for all ASU home games, and then it's just going to grow from there. We want to possibly do it for hockey games, and then have booze cruises out there, sunset booze cruises. So just a use of our beautiful Tempe Town Lake, which is, did you know Tempe Town Lake is behind the Grand Canyon, it's the most visited place in Arizona?
Really?
Wow.
Really? Yeah, I confirmed that with Tempe Tourism.
Our son lived at Salt there for a while on the lake. So, yeah, he loved it down there.
Yeah, it's exciting.
No, that sounds like a lot of fun, and definitely have to.
Yes.
We're probably more in the Uber category to the brewery, and then take it from there and go.
Well, it's much easier to Uber on the north side.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with all the traffic and the parking.
Jumping out.
Right. So, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We're getting a lot of buzz on it, and I think that the water taxi is going to be a huge success.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Great. So other things that kind of revolve around the lake for you is laps around the lake. Tell us about that.
So lap around the lake is, since we are located on Tempe Town Lake, the shortest loop around, if you go in a circle, is 3.2 miles. So on Sunday morning at 8:30, it doesn't matter what the weather is. It could be cold. It could be 95, which is a couple weeks ago, humid. People show up. We have a big loyal group that shows up, and you just run around the lake, walk around the lake. We have dogs, not this time of year, but strollers, and you accumulate your miles only on Sunday. We have a log, and once you get to 100 miles, I give you a 100-mile finisher T-shirt, and we turn the music down and clap for you, and then the 200 miles is a sweatshirt, and it goes up from there. So I just earned my 400-mile sweatshirt a week ago. Wow. So yes, and then we open for breakfast at 9 o'clock. Okay. And here's the real good perk. Here's running in beer. Your first beer is half off. So that's your perk.
There you go. Well, we have really enjoyed having you on the podcast today, and just appreciate all of your time and energy, and of course everything you're doing for the community, both business and social and philanthropic. Why don't you real quick tell our viewers where they can find the brewery, and then where they can find you?
We have one question before that.
Oh.
So what is your favorite beer and why?
Oh, yes.
Now that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Hands down, I'm a West Coast IPA girl. So okay. I love my hops. I love my bitterness. And we have a fabulous brewer. His name is Nick, and he's been with us a little over a year, and his passion for brewing is like mine of opening a brewery. And he has elevated our level of beer. Please come in, and you're the best critic, is give it a try. Yeah. But my favorite beer is any West Coast IPA. So we have a Cell Phone Lot, which is a low ABV IPA, and we have our West Hawk. So I mix them every once in a while. Oh, I shouldn't say that, because then people
then they're
blend
gonna
them.
want that.
No, we don't. It's more work for the bartenders, and it screws up our inventory. So don't come in and order a Cell Hawk.
You're like, Sue said it on the podcast.
All right, now we can find out how can people get in touch with you or find out more about the brewery.
Yes, so our website is 100milebrewing.com. We are located just on the north side of Tempe Town Lake, off the 202 and rural exit. So it's right in between the 202 and Tempe Town Lake. And we're on Instagram, 100 Mile Brew Co., Facebook, 100 Mile Brew Co. And just come on in. We have beer here on the table. We have our Crowd Surfer, which is our Mexican lager with salt and lime. And our Pine Top Pils. It's a super light Pilsner, maybe an entry level for people that don't like beer as hoppy as me. And so come on in and give us a try, and I really appreciate it, and we'll give you a nice warm Iowa welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for listening to The Confidence Curve.
Thanks for tuning in to The Confidence Curve. We hope today's episode left you inspired and ready to embrace your journey confidently. Remember, whether you're leading a team, growing your business, or pursuing personal growth, each step forward builds your curve. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. For more insights and resources, visit us at apexgts.com. Until next time, keep climbing the curve.